We're back, and joining us is one of our favorite members of the United States House of Representatives. He is Congressman Thad McCotter of the great state of Michigan, state he has been representing with considerable distinction in the House of Representatives since 2002, specifically the 11th District. He's currently chairman of the House Republican Policy Committee, and he serves in a number of capacities that are directly relevant to some of the things that we want to talk with him about today. Congressman McCotter, thank you as always for joining us. It's great to have you with us.
Oh, thanks for having me, Frank.
Let's start with something that I'm sure, in particular, in connection with your responsibilities as a member of the House International Relations Committee, I guess it's now called the Foreign Affairs Committee, it has to be alarming to you, and that is the latest core dump, I guess is the technical term for it, by this outfit called WikiLeaks, of cables from U.S. posts and the State Department over a number of years, something like 250,000 of these, we're beginning to get a sense of it, quite a number of sensitive, if not quite classified documents among them, all of which seem to be causing real concern about the immediate effect of some of the people and topics that are addressed in them. But I'd like to get your sense, as well as sort of a damage assessment, as to where this leaves us as a country if this kind of what I think of as information warfare is going to be waged against us with impunity.
Well, one of the dangers, Frank, is that it will preclude a free and fair and objective discussion amongst members of the United States government as to how to proceed on policy matters, where the best interests of the country are, and how they can best be pursued. When you start to realize that everything you possibly put in paper can be released at a time when its release could be damaging to what you're trying to accomplish, it leads people to become more circumspect. One of the great ironies then is that you have people within administrations and elsewhere trying to be less transparent and trying to keep information close by not even putting them in writing or even potentially expressing them. So I think that under the guise of trying to increase government transparency, what they're doing is actually hindering it and putting people on notice that their very free and frank discussions may be aired out at the worst possible time.
Yeah. This, as you know, Congressman Thad McCotter, comes on the heels of previous leaks of sensitive battlefield reports, raw intelligence and the like, that, like these cables, as you say, have considerable value to people in the chain of command in terms of giving them an assessment of the situation in their areas of responsibility. And as you say, let me put it this way. It seems as though it is calculated. If not calculated, certainly it will have the effect of blinding our government to developments, to dynamics, to emerging problems as well as opportunities that could be quite detrimental to our security as well as our larger national interests.
Well, in the case of the battlefield reports, clearly our concern is for the safety of the troops and their ability to succeed in their mission and return home to their families. And when you think about the release of that type of sensitive information, it's not only damaging to the national interests, it's more importantly damaging to the very men and women who are sacrificing so much to defend our liberty.
Yeah, and I guess that applies to diplomats as well, certainly to the contacts that they have developed, oftentimes at great pains and over many years, to develop a sense of trust with people who are providing them information. Some of it may be sensitive, some of it may be simply embarrassing, but in either way, it seems as though one of the predictable upshots of all of this will be that some of those sources of information are no longer available to us as well.
Well, what you find, too, Frank, is any type of human interaction is that you can make decisions based upon what you expect someone to do or not do on information that you have at the time. And you could put forward an assessment that may be disproven by more facts coming in or subsequent events. And what will happen is, with this type of thing, is you'll see in a very sensitive time frame someone's past opinion that may no longer be current, that may have been changed by the facts of the matter, being aired out at a time where the relationship, which had not been damaged, and the opinion of one individual had been kept discreet discreetly held may be aired out, and those relationships could be damaged.
Yeah. So if we can stipulate that this is a very serious problem, and I don't know if you would agree with me that it is an offensive in a kind of a battle space that we've not perhaps thought of in the past as part of the war for the free world, as I put it, but is nonetheless increasingly vital to our security interests, namely this sort of information warfare. What should we be doing, in your estimation, Congressman Thad McCotter, about WikiLeaks and organizations like it that are clearly engaged in this kind of information warfare against us?
Well, I think you have to find out how the information, it is sensitive, as you point out, much of it very, very sensitive, is getting leaked out in the first place to these organizations. The first responsibility is of the government not to release sensitive information, classified information, until an appropriate period of time where it's no longer relevant to the situation at hand. We all want transparency, but to concern yourself with Wikipedia is one thing. But where is Wikipedia getting, or
WikiLeaks? Yeah.
WikiLeaks, where are they getting the information in the first place? And it's from people who should not be providing that information.
But assuming that we can figure out which barn doors need to be closed, and hopefully close them in the future before the horse is out rather than afterwards, do you have an assessment? Do you sense that on Capitol Hill there's an assessment? I've heard Pete King speaking a bit about the need to treat this as I think he used the term treasonous activity and prosecute it as such. Is that your judgment, Congressman McCotter, or are there other ways to try to counter this from becoming an even greater problem in the future?
I think there are existing rules and laws in place about the leak of sensitive information. And so I think that all you have to do is fairly and justly apply the law to individuals who break it. If an individual has not broken the law, the courts will determine that. If they have, the courts will determine that and act appropriately. So I think that that's one of the things. And again, you can go through and you can try to come up with a million different ways that you can on paper to try to stop these types of leaks. But it comes down to the nature of the individual that holds the position that has access to information. Are they going to act responsibly or not? Are they going to pursue their own agenda or the nation's?
Yeah. Well, for what it's worth, my view is that we're at a point where if Anwar al-Awlaki is engaged in this kind of treacherous activity to the point where he should be killed or captured, it seems to me Julian Assange is arriving at that point as well, because while the battlefield is different, it's not terrorist in the traditional sense. The damage that can be done is incalculably high. We're going to have to leave in just a minute. Congressman Thad McCotter, can I just very quickly elicit a short answer from you as to, in your estimation, the advisability of the other body, the United States Senate, taking up this new START treaty during the necessarily truncated lame duck session. This is something the administration wants desperately, as you know. I know you're not serving in that body, but as a member of Congress keenly aware of the constitutional responsibilities of the Senate, is this advisable in your judgment?
No, I think they should summarily reject it. Reject
the treaty outright, not simply defer it till next year and discuss it or review it at greater length in that session.
Anyone who's watching what Russia's doing, anyone who's aware of what their intentions are, anyone who has any kind of memory and remembers what they did to the sovereign nation state democracy of Georgia will know that right now is not the time to go about appeasing Mr. Putin and his friend Mr. Medvedev.
Yeah, and that is, I think, exactly what we will be doing if we wind up taking a very bad treaty, badly negotiated, badly briefed to the Senate. They're withholding the negotiating record because I think it would lay bare how badly this was done, from being rushed through in a as I say, lame duck session that is necessarily antithetical to the kind of careful review that the Senate is supposed to give to these treaties as a constitutional quality control mechanism. Congressman Thad McCotter, as always, we've only begun to touch the surface of very important issues, but I appreciate you taking a few minutes to do so with us today. Come back soon.